Sleeping on the game, really, I came away kind of feeling worse than I did coming out. Like the first reactions, like after the game ended, I was upset. You guys saw, I was upset. I am probably feeling worse after I slept on it now than I did when the game ended originally. And the reason why is just this team has such little talent on the offensive side of the football that it's hard to get excited about the future of the offense going forward. But the worst thing to me is this head coach and its staff are so unbelievably overmatched by any good competition they come, face to face with. And to me, I think a lot of people viewed yesterday as the last straw for Kevin Stefanski. And you saw the difference between, on the one hand, Kyle Shanahan, and on the other, Kevin Stefanski. You got Kyle Shanahan, who knows how to win, who can coach himself out of bad situations. Remember, these guys traded 3 first-round picks to move up in the draft to draft Trey Lance. Remember this. They gave away 3 first-round picks to go up and move up in the draft to draft Trey Lance, who only played, 4 games for them? Maybe even less than that. And they've gone to the Super Bowl since then because they hit on a 7th-round pick by Brock Purdy. The 49ers have found a way to work around scenarios by drafting players, by, coaching players, developing players. Like Brock Purdy, if the Browns took Brock Purdy, right? Let's just say back in the whatever draft, 2022 draft, the Browns draft Brock Purdy in the 7th round. Do you seriously think Brock Purdy has even a modicum of the amount of success that he would have in San Francisco here with the Cleveland Browns under Kevin Stefanski? I don't think so. I don't. So it showed me yesterday, and I think it showed a lot of Browns fans and a lot of analysts and people are in the football world. Kevin Stefanski does not know how to develop a winning football team. And it's hard. It's hard when you have to work around the conditions that you have with the Cleveland Browns. I understand it's hard to work for an owner like Jimmy Haslam who wants to meddle in every single thing that he possibly can. Even when he does not know what the hell he's doing, he wants to try and meddle and put his fingerprints on everything. I understand it's hard to deal with that. I understand it's hard to deal 3 first-round picks to Deshaun Watson, who didn't play for a year, who had 20-something SA allegations against him, and for him to come out and play absolutely horrible football. I understand it's hard to work around that. We still don't know if Kevin Stefanski was fully on board with that. We don't know. But you see how Kevin Stefanski has had 2-3 years to try and get young talent on this offensive side of the football. They have not developed receivers. They have not developed a young quarterback. They have not, developed young offensive linemen. Remember, every single offensive lineman that this current regime has drafted, have not panned out. Zach Zenner was drafted 2 years ago. He's been a healthy scratch every single game this season. He's not played a single snap. He was a 3rd-round pick last year. 3rd-round pick last year, has not seen the field. Not seen the field. His first draft pick he made was Jedrick Wills with 10th overall in 2020. He's out of the league right now. He's not even playing any football games right now. So then you have James Hudson from Cincinnati. Had some moments here and there as like a swing tackle coming in once in a while. And sort of like the Chris Hubbard role that we saw Chris Hubbard do when he was here from like 2018 to 2020. Showed flashes of that, but he's in New York absolutely having one of the worst seasons any offensive lineman could absolutely have. None of the offensive talent that this regime has had, has drafted, have worked out. They have not developed anybody on the offensive side of the football. You could maybe argue that David Njoku could be one of the only offensive pieces that they've developed into like being a serviceable player, but that's about it. And we've seen that the difference between Kevin and Kyle Shanahan is so vast. It is so vast. That is the main issue that I think a lot of people, including myself, are taking away from this game. Because there's a quote that someone put out, some Browns fan or media member put out, and it was a quote from Malik Neighbors from last year. And to me, I think it represents the main problem that a lot of people are having with the Browns. Malik Neighbors, after the Giants lost last year in November, I think it was like November 22nd last year, basically came out and said, yeah, we've changed quarterbacks a bunch of times. Like, I don't know how many times the Browns have changed quarterbacks in the last 2 years. They probably had, 7, 8 different quarterbacks in the last 2 years? He goes, we've changed quarterbacks all the time. We've changed quarterbacks all the time. We still suck. So at some point, it's not the quarterbacks. We've changed the quarterbacks all the time. We've changed quarterbacks. We went from Deshaun to Jameis Winston to DTR to Flacco to Dylan Gabriel to Shedeur Sanders now. And the constant has still been the same. The constant is still the same. It's still bad offensive game planning. It's still mediocre quarterback play to even bad quarterback play. It's awful receivers, picking awful receivers. Offensive line play has been abysmal. Everything about the offensive side of the football has been absolutely awful. And when you have your head coach who's supposed to be this offensive guru, who for the second year in a row has come out and given up play calling duties, and I've said this multiple times. I said this during my video talking about it when it first came out that he was giving up play calling duties to Tommy Rees. I said, if you're an offensive play caller and your whole career and your job is predicated on I'm an offensive guru and this is supposed to be my offense that we are returning to, that we had success with back in 2020 and 2021, that we're going back to this because we tried to change our entire offense to fit around Deshaun Watson's skill sets last year with Ken Dorsey. We're going to go back to what I like to run. And then when you go into the season and your offense looks somehow worse than it did last year, I don't know how you survive that. I don't. I really don't. Which is why I do not think Kevin Stefanski is going to be here for that much longer. I don't think he's going to be here for another year. I really don't. And again, this is why Sunday showed everything to me. It showed the difference and highlighted the difference between what a good head coach looks like on the other sideline versus a head coach that thinks he's good, that thinks he's smart, but he really doesn't know what he's doing. That was the main thing I saw yesterday. And you could tell by the way everybody was prepared. Special teams weren't prepared. Did anybody look like they were in trouble yesterday? Did anybody look like they were going to get, chewed out on the sideline? Gage Larvinanen muffed 2 punts. He muffed 2 punts. He had the first one in the first half where he fumbled the ball after he got hit, went back out there, second half, muffs another punt, causes them to score a touchdown, have a short field and score a touchdown. Did he get look like he got punished on the sideline? It didn't look like that to me. He went over there. He hung his head. They put that coat on him. Nothing. No, I don't think anybody talked to him. It looked when they were showing it on the TV. Nobody was talking to the guy. Nobody was talking to Gage Larvidan. And again, it's the same mental mistakes. Jerry Jeudy's going out there. Shedeur Sanders misses the deep pass to Jerry Jeudy down the seam. Jerry Jeudy's walking off the field, sulking, hanging his head, shaking his head. Nope, it looked like nobody said anything to him. Shedeur Sanders is out there with the iPad talking to people. Jerry Jeudy's in his ear yelling at him. Jerry Jeudy's bringing, Denver Bronco Jerry Jeudy back to Cleveland. This is what all the Broncos fans, including myself, when the trade happened, I'm like, I'm not really a big Jerry Jeudy fan. I don't think he's that great. And he's all the diva stuff, all of like the attitude problems that we saw in Denver are now coming over here. After he had one good season, everyone was like, wow, everyone must be wrong about Jerry Jeudy. No, all the stuff that everyone was talking about in Denver, yeah, that's all coming over here now. So you could tell by the way everything looked and everything ran. Yesterday showed you the difference between what a winning coach and a winning culture and a winning organization looked like with Kyle Shanahan and what a losing culture, a losing coach, and a losing organization looked like with Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns. And that is the biggest takeaway I saw. And I don't know how this gets fixed anytime soon. I don't know. Unless the Browns have a fantastic 2025 Part 2 draft on the offensive side of the football in April, I don't know. But to me, the Browns cannot make the same mistake next year by keeping everyone together after having a very, very bad season. Last season was bad. It was very bad. Year 3 and 14, your offense was horrible. This year, I can argue maybe worse than 2024. I showed you stats weeks ago with the offensive side of the football to kind of make my claim that, yeah, it actually is worse on the offensive side of the football. There's no way that Kevin Stefanski can come back from this. And again, I think Sunday showed everybody the difference between what a good head coach looks like in Kyle Shanahan and what a bad head coach looks like in Kevin Stefanski. And that's why all the reports that are coming out, Benjamin Albright just said yesterday, thinks a total reset's coming. He thinks Stefanski's probably going to get an offensive coordinator position somewhere. And that's fine. He can go get another job. And a lot of people, Kevin Stefanski defenders are going to say, well, you know what? Get him away from Cleveland. He's going to succeed. Okay, sure. Hopefully he does. Good for him. But with how it's going right now, there's got to be changes. And with the reports that are coming out, it looks like changes are going to be made. And I think that's the right decision going forward. Okay, guys.